The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.
We're so thrilled to have on the show an incredible country music artist, but also she's got some other tastes that you'll hear in her new music. Emily Brooke, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
You know, I was listening to your album. The PR people sent me some of your songs, and it's like, we've got to have her on the show. But you know, this new album that you've done, all of the pieces Unplugged, I understand no expense was spared on the studio and everything to record this.
Yes, so much, so much. We did it in my living room in my old apartment. So it was also really cool to do it there just because of so many of those songs and the feelings were taking place right there. So it was also really cool to connect the space to the album as well.
But I'm telling you what, you know, the songs and your voice just sound so incredible. And I told you this before we came in studio. It feels to me like you kind of got like a rock edge to your voice. You know, I know, you know, with the country music and certainly from when you were on American Idol, and we're going to talk about, you know, the tour that you've done in the Netherlands, which you've got another one. Yeah. But it's like you kind of got this rock vibe thing going, Emily.
Thank you. I grew up listening to like rock with my parents and country as well. So it's really cool to kind of have that blend in my music to go back to what I grew up listening to. Right. So I'm excited.
And you've been living here in Nashville since 2019.
Yes.
But also, as we were talking, you know, last year you came off an incredible tour, which was like the Nashville Café. You're going to have to tell me about this, in the Netherlands.
Yeah, it's Nashville's Country Café Tour. Mm-hmm. So we did 15 different theaters just all over the Netherlands. Wow. And it was so much fun getting to just go to all these different cities and play the different theaters and everything. So yeah, I was over there for 22 days, I think.
Amazing.
I want to say total.
And you were such a hit, they want you back.
Thanks. I'm so excited. I was hoping that it would go well, and then they were like, yeah, we want you back. And I was like, yes.
Well, you know, and I was reading, you know, about the tour and, you know, the other artists and everything on there, and you were one of the headliners. But I thought, what a cool concept to bring, you know, and certainly you've played all over Nashville and all over the country. But it's like, but to bring that vibe, that songwriter setting for somebody like you, you know, and with the new material. And I wanted to bring up also, hard to pick one of my favorite songs on this album, but Why really stands out. And all these songs, you know, they really let your voice shine, Emily.
Thank you. Yeah, Why is one of my favorites as well. I think ever since I wrote it probably like 2 or 3 years ago with Mason Thornley and Jason Early here in Nashville. And it's just been one that is always on my set when I go to do the writer's rounds or anything like that. It's so fun to play, and it's so catchy as well. And so I find myself being like, so thank you, I appreciate that.
Well, you know, and listen to this album too. I feel like, you know, I was thinking about my, you know, 18-year-old daughter, Doris, like going, this is really set up for young women to listen to this whole album. This, you know, do you get that a lot from your fans? And you've got a huge number of fans. Are you getting that when they listen to your new songs?
I think so. That was the goal. Like when putting it out was, I remember when I was dating, when I was younger dating, how I just wish that there was one album that I could go to that would take me through the different feelings and different stages in the relationship. So obviously there's like a million different stages and whatever, but we were able to like confine it to 8 songs. And so that has always been something that I wanted to do as a project like this, to really kind of encompass where those feelings you could just go to one album and it's like, oh yeah, that's kind of like the next feeling that I'm feeling. And so I remember I was just always bouncing around to different albums being like, this song is how I feel over here, but now I'm trying to find another song over here, and I was just always all over the place.
That is so great to put them all in one though, and I got to bring this up, not to embarrass you, but you know, back in Florida, in Wellington, Florida, where you're from originally, and I know you still got family back there, but it's like you won the Texaco Showdown, what, like from 2009 to 2012?
Yeah.
And then you won statewide in 2011. So it's like you go back to Florida, it's like everybody knows you, Emily. It's like, oh, it's Emily.
Thank you. Oh, thanks. They always say you gotta like make it big in your hometown to really make it, right?
But you've really made it, because then you went on to American Idol, and certainly you've shared the stage, as we were talking about, with so many great artists, Casey James, Kelsea, Craig Campbell. I mean, multiple artists that you've been on stage with. It seems like this year is going to be a big year for you.
Thank you. I hope so. I'm really excited, and just like with the new music, and I'm going to be writing even more this year for the stuff coming out. So I'm so pumped. I'm really hoping.
I know, that's why we have to get you out of the studio in time, because you got to rush off and do a co-write. And you're like co-writing with some of the biggest songwriters in Nashville. And so is that like exciting for you to kind of, expand more?
It really is. It's awesome getting to meet new people in town, because I mean, you never know what kind of song you can come up with whoever that you write with. And so it's been awesome since living here to really dive into the writing scene here and community. Yeah. So I feel very thankful to get to work with these amazing, talented people.
Well, and another reason I'm a big fan of yours, Emily, is that you kind of have a guitar habit also. So I know when you go to these songwriter rounds, you have to decide which guitar am I going to take? Because you've got some very nice guitars.
Thank you. I have like a whole guitar wall in my apartment, and even some more in cases. Like, it's bad. But to be fair, I always make an excuse that I started super young. So it's like one for every year if you really think about it since I started.
Well, and also, I mean, and you've been doing this since you were 14 years old. And I mean, starting off so young and then just taking off as you have. I mean, you're doing very well. I mean, when you're playing the Netherlands.
Yeah. And I actually started learning guitar when I was 9. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I started playing out shows and stuff when I was 10 years old. And I did my first album when I was 13, 13.
Okay.
And just then really went for it with the whole American Idol thing.
Yeah, and everything took off from there. And that was at 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so you need a guitar for every year.
Exactly.
Well, I want to make sure for all of our viewers and everything, with the album out, all of the pieces unplugged, and I know more great songs are going to be coming out this year. So for your website, for social media, to come see you live, and also check out all the other cool stuff you're doing, Emily, where do they need to go?
Check out emilybrookemusic.com or Emily Brooke on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'll have a little check. You'll know it's me.
and for the big international tour, right?
Yes,
and more great music coming out, maybe a little more rockin' even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe a Gretsch White Falcon out there.
Yes. Now I feel like I need to get they have a black version too.
Yes, they do.
And it's gorgeous. I feel like
one more guitar. I'm telling you. Well, I'll tell you what, Emily Brooke, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Be sure and check her out live, and check out this great album. You're going to love it as much as I do. All of the pieces unplugged.
The Rocket Review is sponsored by Why Not Saloon.